Dodge City, 1878. 24 hours in the wildest town in the West. $90. You can feel the fold of it against your chest, more cash than you have ever held in your life. 3 months of dust still sits in your throat, and your hands have not been clean since the Red River. The herd is sold, the season is over, and ahead of you the low roof lines of Dodge City are catching the last of the Kansas light. It is the summer of 1878, and this town has spent the whole season waiting for one thing. You, and the money in your pocket. By tomorrow night you will have nothing. And here is the part nobody puts in the songs. Every last dollar will leave you by design, not by accident, and no one will rob you to do it. If you want to ride this day out and find out how, take 1 second to subscribe and hit the like button. Then climb back in the saddle, because the town is already reaching for your reins. So let us be plain about what this is before the noise starts. This is one day in Dodge City in the summer of 1878, seen from inside the boots of a single cowboy. You rode up the trail rich, by your own measure, and you will ride out broke. Not because you are a fool, because the town itself is a machine, built board by board and law by law, to take back every dollar the herd earned and pour it into Front Street. You are not a guest here, you are the crop, and the harvest starts the moment your horse smells water. You come in from the south, the way the Texas herds always come, up the long grade toward the Arkansas River. The town sits on the far bank, and running straight through the middle of it are the rails of the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, laid down in 1872. The reason any of this exists at all, without that track there is no Dodge. The cattle you spent 3 months pushing north were never walking toward a town. They were walking toward a railhead, toward a place where a longhorn becomes a number in a ledger, and then a boxcar headed east. You just happened to come with them. You cross the tracks, and crossing them means something. The locals call the line the deadline. North of it lies the respectable half of Dodge, the banks, the dry goods stores, the better hotels, the part of town that wants your money but not your trouble. And north of that line there is a city ordinance, posted plain. No firearms. You cannot ride into the heart of Dodge City wearing your pistol the way you wore it across 500 miles of open country. The law says you hand it over, so you do. Maybe at the corral, maybe at the first saloon, maybe at the hotel desk. You unbuckle the belt that has been part of your body since spring, and a man takes it and hands you a small brass token, a check, with a number stamped on it. Your gun goes on a board behind the bar or onto a numbered hook, and you carry the token instead. You will get the revolver back when you leave town. The myth says the Wild West was a place where every man settled things with iron. The record says the opposite. The wildest cow towns in the country were some of the most heavily regulated little patches of ground in America. Precisely because an armed drunk with 3 months of pay is bad for business. You have just been disarmed by a clerk. Remember that. It will matter all day. Now the machine makes its first move, and it is a gentle one. You smell yourself, you smell the trail. And the town has an answer ready. A bath, real hot water costs you maybe 2 bits, a shave and a haircut more. A new shirt to replace the one rotted through at the shoulders, a few dollars. None of it feels like a loss. It feels like becoming human again, and that is the genius of it. The first dollars Dodge City takes from you, it takes by giving you back your dignity. You walk out of that barber chair clean, trimmed, smelling of soap, lighter in the pocket and not minding at all. You rode in a free man with money and a gun. Within an hour you are unarmed, scrubbed, and already a little poorer. And that was only the part of the day meant to relax you, because now you are clean, and you are thirsty, and the thirst is the door the rest of the town walks through. You push into the Long Branch Saloon, on Front Street, north of the deadline, one of the best-known rooms in Kansas. Inside it is loud and bright, and the floor is solid under your boots. No sawdust, mud, this is a real establishment. And here begins your first real lesson in how money actually leaves a man. Up at the bar there are 2 kinds of whiskey, and they are not the same drink wearing 2 names. There is the local product, raw, no label, distilled or doctored close by. The stuff that earned the name rotgut. And there is the good bottled liquor freighted in from the east, from Kentucky and beyond, poured for a man who wants to feel like he has arrived. You have money, you order the good stuff. The price difference between the two is pure margin, and it lands in the till the moment you choose to feel like somebody. Maybe you start with beer, cold if you are lucky, which in 1878 Kansas is its own small miracle. But beer is slow money. The house knows it, and the house has people whose whole job is to speed you up. A young woman comes and sits near you, friendly, easy to talk to, And after 3 months of cattle and other men snoring, she is the best thing you have seen all year. The drinks she orders look like wine or whiskey. They are very often cold tea, colored water, something that costs the house almost nothing. And on every one of them, real or not, she earns a percentage. That is the job. She is a percentage girl. And the arithmetic is simple. The more you drink, the more she earns, and the more the house earns off both of you. And then there is champagne, the high mark of the whole room. A bottle of real champagne is the most expensive thing a cowboy can buy, and buying it is how you show the room you are flush. Here is the strange truth the ground itself remembers. A cork cannot be easily faked. You can water down whiskey and color tea, but a sealed champagne cork is proof that a real, costly bottle was opened. Which is why, when historians dig through the ruins of dead Kansas cow towns long after the cattle stopped coming, they find them littered with champagne bottles. Those bottles are not litter. They are receipts. They are the physical record of thousands of nights exactly like the one you are having now, the value of a season's work converted into a few minutes of feeling like a king. But notice what the saloon really is. The whiskey, the beer, the percentage girl, the champagne, all of it together is the small leak. Steady but small. The big money in Dodge City does not drain down your throat. It drains across a table covered in green felt. And the saloon has been pouring drinks into you for exactly that reason. You walk warm and loose and confident toward the back of the room, where the real engine of the town is running quietly under a lamp. The game is Faro, the most popular gambling game in the West, and beside it, Monte. You sit down because Faro looks almost fair. And that is not an accident. Played straight, an honest Faro game gives the house only the thinnest edge, a sliver, far smaller than the games in any modern casino. That near fairness is the bait. It is what keeps a smart man at the table. Because every loss feels like luck and every win feels like skill. But a game that fair does not pay for a saloon, a barkeep, lamps, and a percentage girl. So the records of cheating are thick and well documented. Rigged dealing boxes, gaff to favor the house, marked cards, a casekeeper working with the dealer. The town did not leave the odds to chance. It quietly bent them, just enough, and trusted the whiskey to keep you from noticing. And so your $90 begins to melt, and it melts in real time. A bet here, a bet there. You are up for a while, and being up is the most dangerous thing that can happen to you, because now you believe. Then the line turns, the way it is built to turn, and the stack in front of you thins out faster than you can count. 3 months on the trail, 1,000 small miseries, river crossings, and night herding, and $1 a day in wages. All of it sliding across the felt in an evening. Now look at the men keeping order in this room, because they are the proof of everything I have told you. The county sheriff is Bat Masterson, just 24 years old that summer, already a name. On the city police force is Wyatt Earp, working as an assistant marshal under City Marshal Charlie Bassett. The legend has turned these men into gunfighters who settled the West with fast draws at high noon. The truth is more useful and far less romantic. They were municipal employees. They drew a salary, sometimes a fee for each arrest, and their job was crowd control. When a cowboy got too loud or too drunk or reached for a gun he was not supposed to have, the lawman did not face him down in the street. He stepped in close and brought the long barrel of a revolver down across the man's skull. They called it buffaloing. It knocked the trouble out of a man without killing him, kept him alive to pay his fine in the morning, and kept the town quiet for business. That last part is the whole point. The law in Dodge City was not there to protect you. It was there to protect the saloons, the gambling houses, and the merchants from you. You are clean, you are nearly broke, and the law standing in the corner is on the town side, not yours. And the worst part of the night has not even started, because the lamps are lit now, and the deadline is calling you south. When the respectable half of Dodge has taken what it can take in daylight, the trade moves across the tracks. South of the deadline is the other Dodge, the one the ordnance and the better hotels keep at arm's length. Dance halls, where for the price of a drink you can dance with a woman and then buy another drink, and another. Brothels, music, noise, and a darker, faster drain on whatever you have left. By now your stack from the Faro table is gone or nearly gone. And the dance halls are built for exactly the man who is down to his last few dollars, and not ready to admit the night is over. They will take those last dollars too, in singles, in drinks, in a few more minutes of company, until the pocket that held $90 holds change. And south of the deadline the danger is real. Not for the town, for you. Out here the gun rules are looser, men are armed again, and everyone is drunk. A cowboy stumbling through this part of town near midnight with whatever he has left is exactly the kind of target a thief waits for. The fights that broke out in Dodge mostly broke out here, in the small dark hours on the wild side of the tracks. The romance of the gunfighter West, such as it ever was not a duel under a noon sun. It was a drunk broke wage hand and a knife or a pistol in an alley behind a dance hall. Now step back and see the whole shape of it. Because this is the thing the songs and the films never show you. While you spent your $90 one polite transaction at a time, the real money moved over your head and was already gone. Your trail boss was paid for delivering the herd. The ranch owner back in Texas was paid by the cattle buyer for the herd itself, the thousands of dollars the Longhorns were actually worth. And the buyer had already loaded those cattle into boxcars on the Santa Fe line and shipped them east toward Kansas City and the Chicago yards, where they would become beef on tables 1,000 miles from any cow town. The herd's true value left town on the rails. Your wages, that thin slice of it that ever reached your hands, were the only part of the whole season Dodge City needed to recover. And it has just recovered them, almost to the dollar, by morning. Morning! You wake up somewhere, your head splitting, your pockets empty, the token for your revolver still somehow in your vest. You collect the gun, you buckle the belt back on, and out here on the edge of town past the deadline, it is yours to carry again. You climb into the saddle, point the horse south toward Texas, and you start the long ride back to do the entire thing over. 3 more months of dust and night herding and $1 a day. Another herd, another season, another ride up to Dodge or some town just like it. And another single evening where all of it disappears. So understand what you actually rode through. This was not chaos. The wildness of the wildest town in the West was not disorder at all. It was a closed economic loop, engineered as carefully as the railroad that fed it. The gun ban that disarmed you, the bath that softened you, the good whiskey, the percentage girl, the Faro table with its thin, honest-looking edge quietly bent, the dance halls south of the line, the lawmen paid to keep it all running smooth. Every piece had one job, to pull the value of the herd off the trail and into the buildings of Front Street, and to send you back down the road empty and willing to come again. You were never the wild man in this story. You were the wage that the town was built to collect. And here is the ending nobody puts on a postcard. The machine that ate the cowboy was itself eaten, and faster than anyone in that saloon would have believed. The same Longhorns that built Dodge carried Texas fever in the ticks on their hides, a disease that killed the settled farmers' cattle, and those farmers fought back the only way that works. With law, Kansas pushed its quarantine lines steadily west, and then, by 1885, slammed the door on trail cattle for good. At the same time, the open prairie the drives depended on was being strung shut with barbed wire, patented back in 1874, and now closing the range fence by fence. And the railroads kept reaching south into Texas itself, until a rancher could load his cattle close to home and skip the 1,000-mile walk entirely. By 1886, the great cattle trade that built Dodge City was simply over. The town that spent every summer waiting to take a cowboy's last